Hi, well, I'm finally back home after 3 weeks on the road, in between gigs in Paris, visiting family in the UK, but mainly teaching pilots English all over France, including these Canadairs and Dash 8 water bombing pilots.
You can see the water drop system on this panel. Salvo, you drop all the water, or in automatic mode, you can select 4, and you have to select a timing between each dropping. For example, 1 second, 2 seconds, maximum is 2 seconds.
I must say it's a huge privilege to work with these guys. These water bomber pilots saved our bacon in the southwest of France a couple of years ago, and they're doing some of the most challenging and dangerous flying you can. Anyway, it wasn't just work and travelling that have been preventing me from flying. The weather has been downright terrible over the past few weeks, so it was high time for me to move from this environment into a cockpit I'm much more familiar with. After a washout weekend, I was delighted to see that we were due for a couple of days really good weather this week. First of all, on Wednesday, I took the Jodel Mascaret up for a flight over the Bassin d'Arcachon for the first time in over 4 weeks. Conditions were absolutely perfect, with seemingly limitless visibility, and there was practically no wind. That was very useful, seeing as I hadn't landed a tail dragger for quite a few weeks. Well, as the good weather seemed to be lasting, on Thursday my flying binge continued. This time it was over to Biscarrosse to get back in a PA18 Super Cub on floats. As you probably know, most of my amphibian aircraft flying has been done on the Cessna 185 Skywagon over the past few months, but it's very important to remain current on other types. Conditions on Thursday were really exceptional, and we encountered glassy water, which is one of my favourite things. If you remember from previous videos, glassy water occurs when there's absolutely no wind on the surface of the water. It makes it very, very difficult to calculate your height above the water. It's practically impossible. With the speed set and using the cowling as a reference point with the horizon, you just don't move and you wait for the aircraft to touch the water. This landing was so smooth, neither Steph nor I were quite sure if we'd actually landed. I'm very glad I had the cameras rolling. Taking off on glassy water is a little different too. The water is quite sticky, so you have more resistance against the floats. One technique we use is to actually lift one float off the water when we're almost at rotation speed. This actually halves the surface of the aircraft in contact with the water. To do this, I move the aileron slightly to the right, lifting the left float up. As I went around for my second glassy water landing, which wasn't quite as smooth as the first one, we noticed some very unusual effects under the water. We think it was either algae or pollen, which was giving this very strange green streaky effect. Very beautiful anyway. Well, after my last experience on the Slipway, getting virtually stuck in the long, wet grass in the Cessna 185, I was determined to make a real success of this one. You can really appreciate the difference in weight between the Super Cub and the Cessna 185. The PA18 is much lighter on its feet, or on its floats. This time round, I managed to get the plane perfectly aligned with the Slipway, ready for when we wanted to leave. Seaplanes are quite an attraction here at Biscarrosse, and it's great to see passers-by, especially kids, taking an interest in this side of aviation. See you next time.